So, Sairam Victor,
Sairam, Aaron.
if you have any Swami stories, we would love to hear them. So, we are obviously continuing our saga of 95 stories for the 95th birthday. And feel free, jump in and share anything that comes to mind. We'd love to hear.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. Welcome to my home. Excuse me. I've known Swami for, since 1970, when I was a child of the 60s, and most of it I don't remember for obvious reasons. But
you had a good time. But
oh, well, I guess I did. But I survived, and I'm here to talk about it, so that's good.
yes.
I was, my whole world had been blown apart because I had just emerged from being in the hospital for a breakdown due to psychedelics at that time.
Wow.
And I had always been, that gave me an opportunity to ask myself, just what is real here in this world. And I remember calling out to God, as before I knew a Swami, and just saying, why is all this division? I didn't believe in organized religion because I thought that was a force of division in the country. And I just wanted to know what was real. And I found myself in a basement of the St. Mark's Church in New York in 1970. A woman who had visited Baba was conducting a session. I never heard of Baba. And her name was Hilda Charlton, wonderful lady. She introduced me to Swami because when I came into the meeting, there was probably about 100, 200 people in the basement sitting cross-legged on the floor. I sat down, and to her left, as I was looking at her, there was a table and 3 photographs, 8 by 10 photographs, one of Jesus, one of Nim Karoli Baba, who was Ram Dass's guru, and one of Sai Baba. And I remember looking at Sai Baba's picture saying, wow, who's the dude in the afro?
Common first.
That was my first impression. I said, he's smiling nice, okay.
Right.
So somewhere along the lines, we closed our eyes and were meditating. I opened up my eyes at some point, and I'd never seen anything like this before, never since. But around his picture, this thick, there was an indigo halo.
Wow.
Surrounding the picture with a beam of indigo light going right to a halo of indigo around Hilda's head. So it was like master disciple is the way I said, wow, what is this? And I remember rubbing my eyes, but it didn't go away. And I knew that was for me, that no one else was seeing that. I just somehow knew intuitively that this was a sign of some type. And during that meeting later on, they had a film, one of those 8mm or 16mm, the old, of someone who filmed Walter and Elsie Cowan's remarriage after Baba raised them from the dead. And, so I was blown away by all of this. And I remember that there was one part where they where they had a soundtrack of someone speaking. It says, Baba says that the will is manifest and everything that has led you here is perfect. You shouldn't question anything, that it's all for your highest good. When I heard that, I felt my head just go unfold like a telescope till I felt like I'd filled up the entire basement of the St. Mark's Church. And then the meeting was over and I walked out just thoroughly blown away. So that was my introduction to Swami.
That's big.
Yeah, well, so I just was reading some books and stuff. I wanted to have, my wife passed away in 2000. We were married 25 years, but we wanted to have a child. And we were having difficulties, temperature, rhythm, all this stuff. So finally, she became pregnant. And 6 months into the pregnancy, they hadn't heard a heartbeat. So I remember going into the doctor's appointment for, they put a Doppler band around her, a microphone around her stomach to see if they could hear her heartbeat. The night before, I had a dream. I don't know if you know of the old Fillmore East with Bill Graham or not. He was a rock entrepreneur, concert leader, promoter in New York and in California. I dreamed that I was behind backstage. Oh, sorry, the first scene in the dream, Bill Graham comes out and he holds an oyster shell in his hand. And he said, I have something to show you, and I'm in the audience with everyone, and he opens it up and there's no pearl inside. And everyone's going, whoa, what's going on? Next scene in that dream, I'm sitting backstage, and these people from India are coming into the room, and one of them turns around and looks at me and says, Baba has the pearl.
Wow.
Wants me to tell you. So I said, okay. Woke up. Next day, the sound test goes on, and everything's fine. We hear a heartbeat. It's great. All right, baby is born in '77, and everything's fine. Her name, my wife wanted to give her a first name, Anna, named after her Russian grandma. I said, well, let me choose the middle name, because I had been attending something called the School of Practical Philosophy, which was based on the Acharya, I forget his name already, but it was the teachings of someone very potent in spiritual circles, Vedanta. And anyway, the name that I chose, because we attended, was a Sanskrit word called Leela. And I liked that name only because to me it meant play of the absolute, divine sport.
Yes.
That's what I was told it meant. That's all I knew. And so the baby's born Anna Leela, and everything's great. 2 years later, I'm sitting in my room, and people are coming from India, friends of mine who've gone and visited Baba, and they're coming with rings and necklaces and earrings and all kinds of things that he's manifested. And I got very resentful inside. I said, what's he ever given me? And I have this book in my hand. I forget which book it is, but I just literally opened it up to the middle of it. The name of the chapter was Baba's Leelas. And that was the first time I knew that was what his devotees called his manifestations. Wow. So I said, thank you, I know what you've given me.
So it all tied back together, Sai Ram. What a great story. And that, before, just going back to the time when they had not heard a heartbeat, they had tried to hear a heartbeat for 6 months, or previously she'd had checkups and they tried to hear a heartbeat, but they didn't.
Right.
And then you had the Swami dream, and then the next day they had the heartbeat, and your daughter Anna Leela was born. Anna Leela.
Yes.
Was born in good time.
Yes.
Jai Sai Baba.
Yes, Jai Sai Baba.